Welcome in to Duval Daily presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan Lugo. Thanks so much for tuning in. Been a lot of doom and gloom around Jacksonville lately, around the Jaguars. But they appear to be a young team, full buy-in from their players, from their coaching staff. They're incredibly close to playing winning football. They've been beating themselves up a little bit the last few weeks. They've had a lot of players step up on both sides of the ball for them this season in 2022, in my opinion. With an offense ranked 11th in DVOA and a defense ranked 10th, we know the wins aren't coming, but there are players playing at a high level. And for me, I think they deserve to be highlighted. I think that there's a lot of players playing really well for the Jaguars right now. I want to highlight those performances. We're through 6 games of the 2022 season, about a third of the way through the year, a little bit further than a third of the way through the regular season for the Jaguars here. So we're going to take a look at the top 5 players on the Jaguars so far, and we're also going to do a little honorable mention. And yeah, we'll have some fun here. No doom and gloom in this episode of Duval Daily. I'd like to remind you to follow me on Twitter at Jordan DeLugo, Generation Jaguar at Generation Jag. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. If you want to support the channel further, you can go check out genjag.com, pick up a new Duval hat, some new t-shirts. You can also become a channel member, get a fine hat like the one I'm wearing here. Go check it out, genjag.com. You can also become a channel member. Links in the description below. Thanks so much for being here, Duval. Let's get into our top 5. We're going to count it down from 5 to 1. And we're also going to do a little honorable mention because I think that there's more than 5 Jaguars players that deserve to be highlighted here. First honorable mention is Logan Cook. He's averaging about 50 yards per punt right now. He's only punted 18 times, which is certainly not anywhere close to the league high. But he's gotten 5 of them inside the 20. He's been booming it. He's been his typical self at punter, not a lot of shows are out here honoring the work that punters do in the NFL. But Logan Cook deserves some credit, deserves to be praised. He's one of the best punters in football. He has been for several years. He's continuing to play that way for the Jaguars, and he's helping flip the field when the Jaguars are not able to get the ball into the red zone, when the Jaguars are not able to either kick a field goal or go for it on 4th down, score a touchdown, whatever it may be. When Logan Cook is asked to step on the field and boot that football, he's doing a hell of a job for the Jaguars in that regard. Wanted to praise both starting offensive tackles as well for the Jaguars. This was an area that I was not sold on coming into the season. The Jaguars went out. They spent $18 million per year on Cam Robinson over 3 years this offseason. Thought it was a little bit of an overpay. Thought perhaps there were better options long-term for the Jaguars. Came out week 1, really kind of struggled with Montez Sweat and Jonathan Allen, in Washington. But since then, he's been dynamite. He's been one of the better pass-protecting left tackles in football. He's been doing a pretty good job keeping Trevor Lawrence clean. There's minor breakdowns here and there, but every offensive tackle has some misses. You're not 100% in this league. I think Cam Robinson has been playing the best football of his career. He's done a really good job adjusting to this Doug Peterson, Phil Rauscher offensive rushing scheme as well. I think he's doing a good job getting out in space, destroying linebackers, defensive backs. Really impressed with how Cam Robinson is playing. And Jawan Taylor, I think you can say the same thing. He's been outside of the one game in Philly where Hassan Reddick absolutely gave him the business. Jawan Taylor's played really, really good football. He's been clean. He hasn't been heavily penalized. He and Cam Robinson at the bookend spots and pass protection have been part of the reason Trevor Lawrence has had the success he's had early in this season. No doubt about it for me. So I think both of those players deserve some credit. Cam Robinson, he'll be around in Jacksonville for several more years, or at least another season, based on his contract. Jawan Taylor is in a contract year, final year of his rookie deal, so he's playing for a new contract, whether that be in Jacksonville or elsewhere, and he's playing pretty damn good football. Definitely playing the best ball of his career. Both of those tackles are. Final honorable mention. Actually, we have two more honorable mentions. I apologize. James Robinson, he's been playing really good football. Hasn't always been featured every game, but when he gets his opportunities, he's been really good. Again, had an Achilles tear last December 26th, I believe. And he came back. He got back quickly. He looks like he is just as good as he ever was, if not better. He's busted off a couple long runs for the Jaguars. He's been consistent in between the tackles and more of that inside zone power gap role that the Jaguars have here. And just a consummate pro. Unbelievable how quickly he got back from the Achilles. Unbelievable that he's playing at such a high level right now. And he and someone else we're going to talk about on this list have really become a dangerous two-headed monster in the Jaguars' backfield. Final honorable mention is Christian Kirk. The Jaguars' offense, in my opinion, the Jaguars' play callers and coordinators over the last few weeks haven't done the best job of making sure Christian Kirk is getting the ball and getting in space and just having an opportunity to make plays. But I would say teams have been trying to take away the deep shots to Christian Kirk, but you can still get the ball to him underneath. Still, he's having a really good season for the Jaguars. Scored a touchdown last week, a crucial touchdown, a touchdown that gave the Jaguars the lead late in that game. They were not able to hold on to it, unfortunately. But you look at what Christian Kirk has done, the way Doug Peterson is able to move him around the offense, his route running, his speed, his quickness, his strong hands. All of those things have really shined for the Jaguars so far in 2022. And I just expect his usage and his level of play to continue to rise with Trevor Lawrence, with being more acclimated to this offense, with the with Press Taylor and Doug Peterson getting more and more familiar with him. I expect Christian Kirk to continue to play well for the Jaguars. We're now 7.5 minutes into this video. Haven't even started the top 5 list, but these players deserve some credit. They've been playing good football for the Jaguars. Now, getting into the top 5. We're going to kick it off right here. Number 5 overall, Trevor Lawrence. Ever heard of him? Jaguars starting quarterback, first overall pick in 2021. He's playing good football. Second-year quarterback, first year in Doug Peterson's system, first year with this new coaching staff, and you wouldn't really know it. There's been a couple down games, no doubt about it, but overall, Trevor Lawrence has been playing at a level that is positioning the Jaguars to be in close games at the end of it. And a couple times, he, combined with the Jaguars' defense and everything else going on, they've just smoked their opponents. Smoked the Colts. Absolutely smoked the Los Angeles Chargers. This is a quarterback that is growing in this system. He is getting more and more comfortable. He's looking good against pretty much every defense he is going against right now outside of Houston's cover 2 looks that they run, but whether it be man, cover 3, quarters, whatever he's looking at, he's usually doing a good job understanding what he's seeing. He's taking steps in the right direction in terms of being able to manipulate defenses, being able to understand what they're trying to do to him, and just being a master of the process and of the operational parts of being a quarterback. We know he has the physical ability. Great athlete. He's starting to do it a little bit more with his legs. Huge arm. It might not be an A-plus arm, but it is an A arm, no doubt about it. Can make every throw on the field. I think Trevor Lawrence is looking really good for the Jaguars. He's got 11 touchdowns so far. He's tied for 5th in the NFL among quarterbacks in total touchdowns. So he's finding the end zone for the Jaguars. They're scoring points. There is still room for improvement for Trevor Lawrence. No question about it. But he is the leader of this thing. The Jaguars will go as he goes. And as you've seen, he's had them in positions to win games. Had his best late game drive of the season in Week 6 against the Colts, where he was able to drive the team down the field, eat up a bunch of clock, eat up a ton of yardage, and find the end zone, put the Jaguars up 27-26 late in that game, about 2 minutes and 45 seconds left in the game against the Colts. Defense could not hold up their end of the bargain, unfortunately. But I think Trevor Lawrence is certainly improving. He's still got a long way to go, but he's already a quarterback that is playing close to a top 10 level in this league among quarterbacks. And that is just such a great sight to see after what everyone, including Trevor Lawrence, had to go through last year in 2021 with this Jaguars organization. Number 4, Brandon Scherff. Jaguars brought him over this offseason from Washington, and he has been the leader of the Jaguars offensive line at right guard. He is a weapon in the run game. The Jaguars can get him out in space and utilize him in so many different ways. He's got great power at the point of attack, great athleticism. He's moving people off the ball. He's also really good at impacting multiple defenders in one play. You get a little bump on someone here at the line of scrimmage, work your way to the second level, and you're clearing the path for runners and really just having a big impact on the game. Then when you look at him in pass protection, I think he's been just as good there. Has only allowed 5 pressures on the year, did allow 1 sack. But overall, when you talk about where pressure's coming from, when you're looking at the Jaguars' offensive line, it has not been from Brandon Scherff's assignment. So kudos to him, getting paid a ton of money. He is a team captain, comes in, first year with the team, clear leader, clearly the Jaguars' best offensive lineman, and I think he'll just continue to play well for the Jaguars throughout the 2022 season. Number 3, switching sides of the ball, the first defender we will have talked about. I think there are plenty of defenders playing pretty good football for the Jaguars, but there's been a lack of consistency in certain areas. And so not as many defenders on this list or in the honorable mentions, but we do have 2 that are going to pop up here. The first one, number 3, Tyson Campbell. Coming off his best game this year, 8 yards allowed on 6 targets, only allowed 3 completions for 8 yards. He also picked up a big forced fumble. The Jaguars were not able to capitalize on that forced fumble, weren't able to get their hands on it, but just another indication of how smart he is, how hard he plays, and the level of skill that he's bringing to the field. But he's long, he's athletic, he looks like a prototypical NFL cornerback, and he hasn't been perfect. There's been some moments where down the field you want him to flip that head, get his hands in there, break up a pass that he hasn't been able to against some really talented receivers. But overall, this is a guy that's playing consistently. He's good against the run, consistently good against the run, and just does not allow a lot of yards in coverage. I think the most yards he's allowed all year was week 1 against the Commanders. I believe he allowed 42 yards in coverage. So he's getting the job done in a big way at cornerback for the Jaguars. He's our number 3 overall player for the Jaguars so far in 2022. Number 2, getting back to the offensive side of the ball, getting back to that 2-headed monster in the backfield. Travis Etienne has been unbelievable when the Jaguars have given him the ball. He is 5th in yards per carry over expected in the NFL, which that is exactly what it sounds like. You're able to figure out how much a runner should get, how much a runner is expected to get on a given carry. Travis Etienne is getting almost 2 yards more per carry over expected. And he's also 6th in yards per carry, straight up yards per carry in the NFL among running backs. He is fast. He is explosive. He's quick. He's got an easy accelerator. He's got contact balance. These are things we knew that we had already seen from Travis Etienne. What I've been impressed with him the last few weeks, especially as he gets more and more experience and more playing time, more reps, he's dynamic in the passing game. He's been really improving in pass protection. But as a runner, what I've loved to see from Travis Etienne, he's finishing runs with power more often than not now, able to kind of bring the hit to the defender instead of taking the hit, which is really impressive for such an explosive runner. And he's also showing really good vision. He's able to find the cutback lanes. He's able to find the holes that the Jaguars are trying to create up front and take advantage of them. And he's been popping off a lot of runs, averaging 5.6 yards per carry. Last couple weeks, he's been averaging way more than that. He is the Jaguars' most dangerous offensive weapon by far. And the Jaguars need to continue to feature him because it's coming. That 60, 70, 80-yard touchdown run, it is coming. Almost had it last week. Was not quite able to beat that angle on his 48-yarder. But Travis Etienne has been a breath of fresh air for an offense that just needs explosive plays. Our final player on this list, number 1 overall, you guessed it, Josh Allen, Jaguars edge rusher. He's been the Jaguars' best pressure man this season when it comes to rushing the passer. Been consistently in the backfield, getting push, hitting the quarterback. Hasn't racked up a ton of sacks so far, but I do expect those to come based on how much he's been able to create pressure, based on how much he's been able to hit quarterbacks. I think if your coverage makes the quarterback hold on to the ball just a tad bit longer, Josh Allen's probably already at 5-6 sacks this year. But again, Jaguars' best pressure player without question so far, and he might also be their best run defender. And I know you talk about defending the run. You're looking more at the interior defensive line. You're looking more into those linebackers. But Josh Allen does a tremendous job of setting the edge as a strong side run defender, and he also does a really good job of being a weak side support run defender and being able to chase and make plays. He does a really good job of stacking up his offensive linemen, stacking up his assignment, and reading and reacting and being able to make plays on the ball against the run. He's been the Jaguars' most consistent defensive player so far. I think he's been their most consistent player as a whole so far. I think that as this defense continues to grow under Mike Caldwell, Josh Allen will continue to put up even more impressive numbers and continue to be a stalwart up front for the Jaguars. That is going to do it here. Our top 5, Trevor Lawrence, Brandon Scherff, Tyson Campbell, Travis Etienne, and Josh Allen at number 1. Again, our honorable mentions were Logan Cook, Cam Robinson, Juwan Taylor, and James Robinson. That's going to do it, Duval. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hit me up on Twitter at Jordan or Lugo. Follow Generation Jaguar at Generation Jag. Please like and subscribe on YouTube if you want to support the channel further. Go pick up a hat or a shirt at genjag.com. You can also become a channel member. Links in the description below.